Blessings and welcome forward to Reasonings right here at the Trail Live. I'm your host, Jerome Sage Butler, and we're in the beautiful community once again of Gardentown, Penfield. Yeah, Sugarloaf. And this is my hometown, my home community. Well, the community I'm born in. Not the one I currently live in, but I still come back every so often, yeah. It's a beautiful, wonderful afternoon. And yeah, nature's just awesome to us, and we feel so privileged to be in the presence of the Most High, each other, Brother Rahman, and other people within the environment. This current topic is on the power of clear communication. Now, clear communication is very, very important in how we relate to each other as human beings. As a matter of fact, most times, even when we do speak the same language, live in the same house, share the same bed, sometimes even share the same plate, we have huge miscommunication of information. As a matter of fact, it's usually what you are perceiving inside that is usually what is being interpreted in the language, the idiom, and the ways in which someone else is really relating to you. It's already based upon what you have inside. So a lot of times you are not really genuinely present in the communication. This, I would say, preconceived, pre-designed notions which are really interpreting and basically representing in the present moment. So clearly, how do we get to the power of clear communication? Well, number one, you have to truly be honest with yourself and know the intentions of your heart, i.e. what you're truly experiencing and how the experience is making you feel, because one might say the experience, how you're feeling about it, is really not correct. But it's in truth and in fact it is how you're feeling, so it is really affecting your behavior and the events that your behaviors promote, right? So effectively you should realize that it's having an effect. So being honest about how a situation is facing you, or how you are facing a situation, is very, 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 very important. And that starts the power of true communication, because in fact it will mean that where you are coming from will be the true positions that you hold, be they clear or not. So many times we relate something to our family member, a friend, a business partner, or a close associate, and we really believe that they understand exactly what we've said to them. Upon further examination of the behaviors and realizing that what we had really expected in return had not been forthright, had not come forward, you realize that, oh my God, the person really did not, our persons really did not understand where you were coming from. It becomes evident that you were not really having true, clear communication. Now, people always say in psychology, it's not really the words you use, but the emotivity of the words, really the implication, what is really being said beneath the surface, the undertones, the underpinning intonations and inflections in your voice, vocal tones, which carry the greatest weight in the communication. So in essence, you might be saying yes as an answer to a question that your spouse or your loved one has asked, but your body language is truly saying no. So you're saying to yourself, I said yes, and you're expecting effectively that they would reciprocate from the understanding that you are affirming the position that they offered. But instead, they're not reciprocating some kind of an understanding. Rather, they are reciprocating a kind of a double-mindedness, a doubt or a downright rejection. And you're saying, but I said yes. You asked of me this, and I answered you. My answer was yes. But your body language did not match your tone of voice, or even the implications did not align with the wording. So then you begin to realize clear communication is a lot less to do with the words you're using and a lot more to do with your intentions, your emotional state. The underlying argument is, if you're feeling this way and then trying to suggest something else contrary to what you're feeling, your loved one, your spouse, your friend, your associate, they're going to pick it up. Any really well-thinking human being is going to know that that's not really what you mean. So clear communication really comes back to your intentions. So I would say if it's gonna take you 20 minutes to respond clearly and coherently to a question or proposition, or even 2 days, or even a week, or even 2 weeks, then clearly I'm suggesting that you should take those 2 hours, those 2 days, those 2 weeks, or even 2 months, if it means that you're truly going to give an honest response. Because if you're just going to give a response based upon the knee-jerk reaction, or based upon happenstance, or some emotional feeling, that's not going to benefit in the long run. It's better that you take some time, spend enough time, or invest rather enough time in your perception, in your feelings, to then come to a clear understanding and then make a decision. It would be truly wholesome, and it will truly have the effect that you're really wishing for, that you're hoping for, because you would have imbued and invested enough time into your true position to basically relate from that true position. I think there's a thing that we as youngsters, in our lifestyles, we see our parents having this understanding of each other, and we're saying, well, our overstanding, as Rasta would say, and we say, well, how hard could it be? Our parents understand each other. We see older folks understanding each other. So it must be because you can talk about stuff. Well, they seem to be talking, and they seem to sometimes even not be talking, and they understand. So it should be possible for us. So what's the big deal? I can tell you what's the big deal. I mean, me and Raman, we talk about it's the big deal is those parents didn't just come to this understanding of each other. Our parents really took time through some suffering moments, through some really difficult moments, some hard conversation, some downright difficult rejection, to get to really know what makes us tick, what makes each other tick. So if you know by starting off a conversation with certain line of reasoning and argument is going to trigger off your partner, then what sense does it make that you start the reasoning or the conversation with those line of argument? It really is not going to serve you any good, and it's not going to serve her any good. So you can say, well, this is how I think, this is how I perceive things. But if you know it's going to cause a conflict or even cloud the argument even further, then why do it? So our parents realize over time that it is important how we relate to each other. Because if you say you love this person, then you got to afford due respect to this person, and don't just expect this person to accept all of your nuances when it is clear that you're not respecting their feelings. It's clear that you're not respecting their emotions or what triggers them into a negative emotion. So the power of clear communication will truly lead you to understand that you've got to be conscious and conscientious about how you're relating to not just the persons you are caring about, but to human beings in general. You got to be conscious. Because where you're coming from might be so important to you, but might be offensive to another. And especially if you're spending lots of time together. So your parents, our parents would have learned that we are not going to say things this way. We are not going to go to our bed in anger, but we're going to leave the difficult arguments to when we have calmed down. Because all we're going to be talking from is emotion. An emotion that feels bruised or feel hurt or feel broken will not offer true solutions. So why even begin an argument, rather, I'll not say argument, why begin a conversation or a reasoning towards clarity in that state of mind? Give yourself some time. So, over time, you would have understood, or you will begin to understand your partner. You would have begun to understand the nuances. And everything isn't about changing your partner. Isn't about always changing the narrative to suit your argument or your line of reasoning. If someone is saying to you, I am sorry, based upon their understanding of their reality and how it is they come to remorse, you can't just hold them to your desires of hearing them say sorry in the way you want it to be said. So you can't say they didn't communicate when they communicated, but you just weren't willing to hear what they were saying in the ways they are saying it. You say, I want this answer or that answer. But they answered. But you just weren't willing to be satisfied because you want to hear it your way. Am I right? I see you laughing. I know you're laughing because you know. You don't want to just have them say they're sorry and show their remorse in their way. You really want it to be in your way. That's what's satisfying you, because that's just how you've been socialized. That makes you feel better, that comforts you, or in psychology it might just be pampering your ego. So it's not just to continue in your own self-destructive behavior or dysfunctional behavior. It would be nice actually to just accept a person's apology in the genuineness of how they offered it, and that would add to the power of clear communications, because then you would understand that they're truly trying to relate and truly trying to further the argument. Maybe they're not truly trying to further the conversation or further the solution. They might not be as intellectually verbose as you are, or so emotionally clear as you are. And as Raman would say, sometimes where you are strong, they're weak. And where you're weak, they're strong. So you might have certain things down, like how to communicate clearly. You might be a master of expressing and communicating your feelings, and the other person might just not be so skilled or verbose or versed at expressing. An artist can tell you, I have long lines of reasoning. I can go on. And she's like, I listen to you. But I don't, she says, I don't afford her the same hearing. But sometimes I know, I do have a little fault there. My line of reasoning and rhetoric can go on for a bit. So our partners are our mirrors. So sometimes we gotta be honest to know, sometimes we are a bit of a pain in the nerve as well. And as such, we got to understand how to lay back on the long line of reasoning, or you take it 5 minutes to explain a point that could really be explained in 3 words or 5 words, right? Or in a minute. So again, to the power of clear communication, it's not the long-winded conversations, right? Sometimes it's really just a short, to the point conversations that's in the moment. And sometimes you really do have to stop what you're doing to allow that to happen, because sometimes, yes, you can wait, but sometimes a truthful word spoken in the right moment will alleviate a whole lot of suffering and misunderstanding for months, moments, even lifetime to come. So we've got to be conscientious and conscious of how we are relating to our important other halves, family, friends, business associates, and people that we're generally meeting, that we should be conscious about, that we are communicating clearly our truest desire and our truest feelings born in the truth itself, honest, respectful manner of relating, from a place of respect. If we can do this enough, then we can begin to truly understand each other, overstand each other, begin to see when situations are out of alignment. It is situations, not necessarily individuals. So we don't have to blame each other and then carry a grudge or some kind of a dislike or a great distaste or displeasure that's going to stay with us. Because those things that stay with us, they affect the clear communications. As a matter of fact, they are the reasons why we can't communicate clearly, because naturally we're always going back to those moments that offended us. So I'm saying that if we can just be present most times, right, in the moment, and see that maybe we are just really talking about this moment, not 20 moments before, but this moment. So we don't have to add the hurt, the misunderstanding, of those moments into the present moment, because actually it's a completely different moment. So these things will add again to the power of clear communication and not take away from it, because we're always going to have our different viewpoints. We're always going to have our different emotional centers and centerings. So we got to remember these things, right? As we offer ourselves up into the reasoning towards clarity, getting past our difficult conversations, going through those harsh moments, and truly seeing the kernel of the matter, which is the true soul, the true spirit, and the true person. Because you and I know, as human beings, we got to communicate. Because if we don't communicate, we can't build. We can't work together. We can't achieve anything. So it's actually better that we learn to truly be clear and understand, understand honestly the power of true communication. So as we go further and further into our rhetoric and further into the experiences and the events of our lives, let us please remember there's absolute power and emotive clarity in how you relate. Start from being honest about each situation, each circumstance, and then you can move from there into better and more clarified communicating experiences. Blessings and love to you. Here is towards the power of clear communication. Relax. Take a moment to truly hear, listen, process, and then relate. Relate clearly, and clear relations will be the power of your communication. This has been Jerome Sage Butler, Reasonings at the Tree of Life, offering up words, solutions, or even suggestions rather, on our most complex and regular human experiences. Blessings and honor. Thank you so much for sharing these moments with us right here in Gardentown, Penfield, in the awesomeness and the beauty of life. I hope these has been clear communicating moments, and I pray we continue in these wonderful moments of clear communication. Until next time, remember that you're a gift, an awesome, blessed gift to yourself, to your family, to your community. Communicate that blessed gift and continue until we meet next again. Blessings and love.